everybody, and welcome to Wine and Vine. Today we're going to be talking about Yuengling, Amber Longer. Now, you might be asking me, why are you starting off with Yuengling? There's nothing really exciting there. Why don't you start off with some like craft beer or something like that? Well, Yuengling is American. It's as American as it gets. And I like America. Also, it's beer, and I like beer. So how can you go wrong with that? Let's start off with some history. Yuengling touts itself as America's oldest brewery, and as a matter of fact, it was making beer like 64 years before that Pabst guy was winning blue ribbons. In 1829, David G. Yuengling started his company in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, brewing beer. Sadly, 2 years after it began, it all came to an end with a fire. But they didn't give up there, they rebuilt, and thanks to that, we have more beer today. In the year of 1877, the original founder, David G. Yuengling, died. Sad, I know. But then he passed it down to his son. And his son passed it down to his son, and here we are today, 5 generations later. And it's said that the daughter will be taking over after the current Yuengling retires, which I think is pretty cool. In 1919, Prohibition grabbed a hold of America. And Yuengling started producing what's called near beers, which was just like about 0.5% by volume alcohol. And they also started a dairy, started making ice cream, and these people must have been crazy entrepreneurs because they also opened up a couple dance halls. So they ventured out of the liquid industry ever so slightly. But they also know how to throw a great party because when Prohibition ended, they fixed up a big pallet of winter beer, as they called it, because they had won, and they sent it to the president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, the traditional amber lager, it was an older beer, and they brought it back in 1987. So ever since then, it's been their flagship brand. I think like 80% of their sales is the traditional amber, which sadly you can only get it on the east side of the United States. I don't think it sells in Texas or anything west of there. So, but in certain parts of Pennsylvania, which, you know, Yuengling is Pennsylvania, in certain parts of Pennsylvania, if you just order a lager, you'll get a Yuengling. No questions asked. So this is 4.5% alcohol by volume, and as a lager, I'm expecting a crispy taste. You know, lagers are cold brewed, but that's an effect of the yeast. The yeast is able to withstand colder temperatures in a lager as opposed to an ale. So with ales, you're typically going to get a more fruity taste, a little bit more aromatic flavors, if you will. In a lager, you're just kind of going for crispiness. So that's like Pilsners in America, very popular. They taste like crispy water. Let's be honest. This lager, I'm expecting that crispy flavor, but a little bit more body from it. Also, I got the can because I'm cheap, and I think it'll be okay. All right, so the first thing you'll notice is that it's not crazy carbonated. I've got about 1 inch of head there. Also, the color appears to be a little bit orange. I like the color. It's not clear like a Bud Light would be or something like that, or, you know, slightly gold, but it's got a little bit more color to it. Very pleasing to the eye. So let's give it a try. You get a maltiness, but it's not overwhelming, but also you can still tell it's there. I feel like this is a good compromise beer. Like someone who just drinks light beer, I feel like they would like it. And someone who likes something a little bit stronger, I feel like they would like it too. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm not getting any like real fruity flavors, just a little bit of maltiness. And not a lot of hoppiness either, but it does have that crisp taste on your tongue. It kind of dries it out a little bit. It's very drinkable. Also, another thing, like you can't really taste the alcohol. Like if this was a near beer, like they used to make, maybe that's where they got their style from, but the alcohol is not heavily prevalent in this at all. All in all, it's very drinkable. I'm going to give the look an 8 out of 10. Also, I believe it must be brewed with Cascade hops because if I imagine the flavor of oranges being there, I think I can pick up on it. It has a sort of a citrusy tone to it. Like, it's not really fruity, but I'm getting a subtle citrusy flavor. And I think that's because of the Cascade hops. Do a Google search. Yeah, it's brewed with Cascade hops. So I brewed a short mead with Cascade hops once, and it has a very similar flavor. It's like none of the bitterness came through, but the subtle aroma of that citrusiness definitely came through. And I like that. The smell, it doesn't have any strong hoppy smells. It just kind of smells a little bit like grain. Maybe a little bit citrusy if you search for it. The taste, once again, is very crisp. Like you could be biting into an apple if the apple tasted like barley. Slight maltiness. It's not just water. You actually have some substance there. But then again, it's not like a craft beer or like an IPA where it's like knocking you out either. It's like something you could sip on and not even think about. The feel is overwhelmingly that crispness. It doesn't have it's not like thick, you know, like a Guinness would be, but it's not as like watery as a Bud Light or any other light beer. It has a little bit more substance to it. So I'm gonna give the look an 8, the smell a 4, the taste a 7, the feel also a 7, and overall I'm gonna give it a 7. This is a good beer, but it's not like nothing you're gonna write home about. But you could slam a few of these easily, or you could just sip on it, whatever you like to do. But overall, I'm gonna say it's a non-offensive beer. And quite delightful. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been the first installment of beer review, and I hope we can go from here. I probably won't be doing any crazy beers anytime soon because, you know, I'm on a budget. But if you tuned in, I hope you liked it, and please be sure to leave your comments below and like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.